This is the Japanese delicacy known as bukkake. Look, that's nothing about that's racist. That's a thing that they do. It's their thing.
I didn't say anything. What, you're the one who brought race into it.
I'm just saying.
I was going like that's kind of risque for this show. Talking about hardcore fetishes.
We're not on YouTube anymore, baby.
The audience, what happened?
Okay, yeah. There's been a mix up, ladies and gentlemen. So I got my movies confused. I thought Son of Godzilla was the movie about Gabara, Milna versus Gabara. That was All Monsters Attack, and it wasn't Son of Godzilla. Son of Godzilla is where Godzilla meets Milna. So we decided to switch because All Monsters Attack is an actually good Father's Day movie. Godzilla teaches Milna to stand up for himself. So that's what we're watching. We're watching All Monsters Attack. We're not watching Son of Godzilla.
Can you explain who Milna is?
Milna is a little mutant that doesn't look like Godzilla at all who talks. It looks like a bullfrog. He's like, he's going to grow up to look like Godzilla. Maybe when Godzilla looked like a bulldog. But the real Godzilla Jr. is the Godzilla who took over for Godzilla Jr. who took over for Godzilla after Godzilla versus Destroyer. So
Destroyer.
Do you think Destroyer is ever going to be in the MonsterVerse?
Maybe.
They'd use Oxygen Destroyer, so
they did. Ray Blossom in the chat says, "Happy Father's Day, my dudes! Congrats on getting laid." So thanks.
Yeah, well, Ray. At least once. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's go ahead and start this movie. This movie's not long. It's an hour.
Oh, is this dubbed or is this?
Boy, I hope.
So this is like some old school. Like I don't think I've ever watched like a real Godzilla.
No,
movie
this is 68. I think maybe 70.
That's not true. I did do one Godzilla watch party with you.
Godzilla versus Kong. You're like round 2. That wasn't round 2. Kong just got lucky for a little bit, and then Godzilla beat his ass.
Oh, this is what y'all said. It's like clips from other movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think Gabara, because this is the only movie Gabara is in, isn't he?
I think so.
I mean, what if his tail's sticking out of the water though?
That's Milna.
That looks like a baby Godzilla. Oh, he's fucking Fake Nation. Blowing some smoke rings. Hey, I like this kid.
You've been vaping.
Milna was before his time. I really like do you remember the Godzilla Jr. from Space Godzilla?
Yes.
I really like that design.
That is actually a pretty good design.
Now, Jesus, man.
Who's that guy?
That's Gabara.
That was like a cat that you put in water.
I like Showa is probably my favorite era of the old Godzilla, besides Millennium. But like Heisei, everyone like loves Heisei, but I was like, Heisei is just a bunch of beam battles. And then you get close-ups of claws hitting skin. I mean, you don't have wrestling moves like you do in Showa era. You don't have the sliding tail as we have.
I watched the guy. Fuck that kid.
I think you're thinking of Ghidorah.
So I'm supposed to give commentary and read at the same time. I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this.
I don't know if they don't know if they have the English dub on Max, but I mean,
it's fine. We're here now.
We're here. Yeah, this is what we're doing.
What the frick? Why is the song stuck on me?
Yoko Ono harsh singing lady in the background.
Why is there such a harsh place to live? Godzilla's shocked.
Go Godzilla. It reminds me of that. You ever see that clip of I can't remember who it was. It was John Lennon and who was that guy that did Johnny Be Good, sitting there playing together. Yoko Ono, just screaming in the microphone. That's what this singing reminds me of.
They pulverize everything.
Megaton smog.
What is megaton smog exactly?
We're looking at it. It's a megaton of smog.
They just went out.
They're the real monsters.
Dude, this is another environmental movie.
Oh man!
Oh my god! Get Greta back. I know our power was out for like 2 days, and I was sitting inside with the door open, all the windows open, no TV, just sitting there. And like I was like, this kind of feels like the '90s. Like I wasn't on my phone or nothing. I was like, I remember being a kid, and just having the windows open and shit. Yeah. Thought about telling my 2-year-old at the time to just go outside, and he'll be back whenever the sun goes down.
Just be back before bedtime.
He's just outside screaming, beating on the door the whole time.
A 50 million yen heist. That was like $6. Amazing.
Elephant Gang. Okay.
What?
Surprise kid. Oh.
What is this? What is that? Like, why does that make somebody angry? Why? I never understood that. Like
What the heck?
like what does that do?
Pisses me off. Do you think they can do that and get away with it?
Your mother
Hey,
worries
look-
about you.
You think he can make faces like an idiot at me?
A vacuum tube is that big a deal?
We did it, baby. He said, "We did it, baby." So in this
Fist.
movie, Godzilla is already a thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's already
Yeah.
came and destroyed.
I-
How do you continue living like a normal life after seeing that? Like, you're
What's
like,
he
I'll still
doing?
stay in Japan and I'm just gonna go
Oh,
to
they did it
work.
pretty well. The MonsterVerse there was like everyone remembers G-Day.
I just feel like you'd be cowering in a bunker somewhere. Like, he's gonna come back. We
Dude,
didn't
they
kill
like
him.
in the MonsterVerse is like there's a bunch of underground bunkers that people can go to. It's like as soon as Godzilla or any other Titan comes out, they're just like, we gotta go hide, man. Get in the shelter now. That's one of the reasons I love the MonsterVerse is because they actually treat it like an event. Like whenever Godzilla wakes up, they're just like, oh my god, we're all gonna die. And I don't know if y'all seen Godzilla X Kong, but it's streaming right now. I think on Max. Or I rented it on Google.
So,
But
yeah, I remember you said something about you were going to rent it.
Godzilla's sleeping in the Coliseum. He's like curled up in the Coliseum sleeping. And Roman's like, it's a tourist attraction. We can't just send people here when Godzilla's sleeping in it.
Did he not say anything? There was no subtitles during all that. Oh shit! Even back then in Japan, they had the fucking frilly lace bull crap that was over everything.
over the top
Grandma.
of it to make it decorative on the big box tube TVs.
That's awesome. I thought it was just us. I guess that's where we got them from. I don't mean that just like in a bad way. Let's just we
It was a
export,
style
we
back
import a
then.
lot of stuff from Japanese and Japan and
Look,
China.
there's Godzilla right there. They
There is. There's a Godzilla toy right there.
Why would he have a toy of the thing that murders people? I get
Well,
why we would. He's on the
Everybody can
plane.
smoke now.
This is amazing.
he's in the mind's eye, man.
See, this is what I love, man. A fun bad movie. It's been so long. I feel like
I always love seeing white people in Godzilla movies because they're speaking Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
Of course they are.
That's funny.
Oh no!
You just
Everybody disappeared.
imagine all the
It's-
people that
it's-
disappear.
It's left behind.
And we're back at it. Nicolas Cage strikes again.
But isn't
Macros.
Godzilla also kind of like a hero too? Like he like fights the other bad
Like,
monsters.
Showa era is really weird because after Godzilla raids again, he became kind of like a hero figure.
Suplex. What is it?
Yep.
I don't know.
Boom.
That wasn't really a suplex, but it was cool.
Got his ass.
So I know Godzilla is a man in a big suit, right?
Mhm.
Or just a guy in a suit. What are these things then? Because there's no
Puppets.
way a man's fitting in that. Okay. He got like rocket feet to
Yes.
jump. He's
Dude,
like, I can't.
Kamakuris is actually pretty cool because
Can't-
if I don't know if y'all watched the first Godzilla, I know you didn't, Tom, but Neil, if you watched the first Godzilla anime,
Is that the breath y'all was talking about was so badass?
what?
Well, in this
He
movie,
just
it
did
is.
the breath and his fins were lighting up. It's
The,
like a shitty version of the good
Kamakuris
movie.
in the original Godzilla anime invaded New York in the 1980s and just
Nice.
decimated it just
Wrecked
about
it.
until they finally eradicated it. And I was like, man, because there's two novels that are the prequel to the first Godzilla anime, and they just talk about how monsters destroyed the Earth. They're like, Tiamat controls the Atlantic Ocean, sinks ships half the time. We don't know what to do about it.
The fuck?
Or was it Midna? It was Midna that did it. I'm thinking Tiamat is monster versus monster.
Giant condor. It's not even Rodan or whatever.
I gotta be honest, guys. I'm loving this right now. Like, I've never seen this movie, and this is great. I'm having such a good time. Like, he's like seeing all these different monsters and stuff. Like, I get what's happening. It's a kid playing pretend, and he's like in his mind, he's on the island seeing all the different monsters. So it's very fun.
Now imagine seeing this when you're 8 or 9. This
Yeah, I can
is
see that.
that's why I fell in love with this shit, because Godzilla versus Megalon was my first Godzilla movie, and I have so much nostalgia. I bought, my wife got me a Jet Jaguar figure for Father's Day, because that was my first Godzilla movie, and I fell in love with Jet Jaguar. You would think I would like Shin Ultraman, but I don't, or Ultraman. I don't like Ultraman. I just like Jet Jaguar.
Boom. The
It
best
is
part about
cool.
all this, Tom,
Go
is
ahead.
that literally most of these scenes come from other movies, and they're just splicing the kid into
Really?
these scenes.
Yeah.
Well, they did a good job because it doesn't like I'm not even noticing it.
Well, because Godzilla was such a fucking moneymaker back in the day.
It is funny, like the giant monsters, like kaiju. That idea seems like such like an obvious thing to like be around. But like these are the ones that started it, so it's always cool seeing how like whenever somebody creates a genre and stuff like that. Like I always find that very interesting.
They were pretty good for the time. I mean, this is also HD enhanced, but they were dying. This is the 9th or 10th Godzilla movie,
That's
and
what I was gonna.
they were just shotgunning them out at this time because they were making money.
I was wanting to say like just the way that they shoot these things to make the monsters look big and everything. Like it's all practical like
Yeah.
effects and everything. Like it's actually really good and interesting how they do that because like unless you know, like back then, I think it really would have blew people's mind. Like, how's he stomping through a town?
Oh,
no!
I can't wait to hear his voice, man, because he talks.
God, these.
His eyes
just,
so big.
it just looks like it. Just,
And it's so weird because there's like a cuteness to it, but it's very disturbing.
It's disturbing.
poor Gabra. They
That
did
thing-
Gabra dirty, man. He has a cool roar. Why does this monster that looks like that have such a bad roar? I mean,
don't
good
know.
roar.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that monster looks like horrible. I'd like to see what that would look like in a modern movie. That would be cool, like if they could do like the Godzilla -1 treatment to like and do all different monsters and stuff.
Picking up some rocks.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, fucking
Throw them
dinosaurs.
at cars.
Yep.
I read Jujutsu Kaisen, and I was like, all right, this is good. I really like this manga. I want to watch the show. It's on Hulu. I started Chainsaw Man manga.
I think it was for me watching Dragon Ball was when I realized exactly what it was about anime that I liked. And it's the same reason I like The Hobbit. It's just that, group of people going on a long quest, a long adventure. There's little side stories that you're going. Same thing, Avatar is another show like that. I love that sort of stuff. You haven't watched My Hero Academia?
No, I might read the manga first though, because like I read Jujutsu Kaisen. I read that manga first, and I want to watch the anime now.
I swear, for the guy that was into all the Godzilla stuff, was into whatever that BattleBot stuff was, Dragon Ball Z, all this stuff, it was like, I don't like anime. You sure are really getting into anime. Pokemon, like you loved all the anime stuff, and you're finally getting into it. It's good, man.
I just
knew
the
you would love all that
anime's like
stuff.
what? Like there was this one anime.
There's some that are really ruin it for the others.
Yeah. There was this one, and I think one of the heroes was named Rikio or something like that. I just now remembered this because of watching that Toonami blog last night. But there was this one anime that I watched as a kid, and I was like, why do people like this? And because there was like a bunch of they're like over exaggerate their emotions and stuff like that, and they just draw them like, and I'm just like, this is some cringy shit.
Which
man.
I mean, they did that stuff in Dragon Ball as well, especially Dragon Ball. I don't know about Dragon Ball Z, but they definitely did it in Dragon Ball.
Well, yeah, but I watched
all
Dragon Ball
this
Z
stuff.
first, and then I fell in love with the universe, and then I watched Dragon Ball.
But yeah, overall, like anime, it's like you just got to find the ones for you, and that's what's cool about anime. Is it's adult cartoons with like very good stories.
Don't play with a car door handle.
I personally think animation is the best format for telling stories because you're free to do anything you want to without the confines of CGI. I'm like, that movie took me out of it because the CGI was bad. It's a cartoon. Like everything fits. And that's why I think it's the best. And I think anime does the best with it. My son's barber roasted me yesterday. I told her, I was like, yeah, he has hair just like me. It's very thin. And she looks at me and she goes, you don't have any hair. And I was like, you bitch. I was like, I'm saying when I had hair. She's like, but you don't have it. And I'm like, I know.
Dude, this kid's like doing like white noise therapy or whatever.
He's trying. What's that thing that people can do?
Sleep
Oh,
deprivation.
no, I've heard about it.
sensory deprivation.
Lucid
No,
dreaming.
it's a
Oh,
new
yeah,
thing
lucid
that,
dreaming, yeah.
these people are doing where like I saw something on TikTok where you just imagine wherever you are and you'll be there. Like, and people are in these
Yeah.
straight. It's like lucid dreaming, but it's like,
Manifesting.
yeah. It's nonsense. I know
It's
you
so
guys are-
weird. As detailed as that particular costume is, why is this the only movie he ever appeared in?
Gabbara? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Because he's
I
not
wait,
in
he
any of the other
did
ones,
he?
right?
I think he appeared in like some Ultraman.
Oh, well, okay. Godzilla's a harsh parent.
Get your ass over here, Milner! I swear to God, you come fight Gabbara. What is that, Elbra?
I don't remember. It's this Godzilla versus the sea monsters. That
Yeah, I know this was
footage.
from that movie because it was supposed to be Frankenstein versus Sea Monster, but they couldn't get the rights to Frankenstein, so they just threw Godzilla into it.
How could they not get the rights for Frankenstein? Oh, I guess back then it probably wasn't public domain.
Well, Universal had the rights for a long time, I'm sure.
Awesome. Oh, that's when he starts Vape Nation.
He's like
Vacation,
rubbing his
baby.
belly. He's got to get bigger
Ah! Oh
because
no,
he can't fight
that's-
Gabbara like that.
This is the Japanese delicacy
right.
known as bukkake. Look, that's nothing about that's racist. That's a thing that they do. It's their thing.
I didn't say anything. What, you're the one who brought race into it.
I'm just saying. For
I was
anybody else
going like
questions
that's
me-
kind of risque for this show.
Is
Talking
it?
about
See,
hardcore.
Here's the thing, though, I will
fetishes.
say about all Godzilla movies.
We're not on YouTube anymore, baby.
The thing about Godzilla is Godzilla's breath should be the like neutralizer in all fights back in this era. Like, there's nothing else that has a weapon like that.
See,
Whoa,
look, he's
whoa,
See, y'all didn't tell me that. Y'all didn't tell me he was gonna like double in size, or my bad, like quadruple, septuple in size. I don't know how much higher I can do tuples. Vape Nation him to death. That's like believing if you eat an apple seed, you'll grow an apple tree in your stomach.
dude, I was terrified of that watermelon, eating a watermelon soup.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
There's like
yep,
Magic
yep.
School Bus episode.
I was scared of eating cheese puffs because that one episode where the one kid turned orange.
He's like, fighter jets are here to help. And he's
Oh.
like, no, these pieces of shit always come to try to kill us.
He said,
This crap
he's like,
over and over again.
they just start diving into our island left and right. Isn't that sweet?
Oh.
This is Father's Day special, everybody. Man, it must have been so easy. I was talking to my wife about this today. She was talking about, like, back in the day, you could just rob banks and nobody could really catch you. And I'm like, well, yeah. But like nowadays, you can rob people's credit cards and stuff. Used to, you couldn't personally get robbed. Now they can hack into your banking accounts and everything. So they do the same thing and get away with it a lot easier.
There was like,
Dude, that dude just abandoned the kid too. Like, there's nobody in that building except for the kid, supposedly.
See, what it is these guys told him they would buy him a drink, and he couldn't turn up an opportunity of a free drink.
spanks it, gives it a kiss, puts it to bed. Happy Father's Day, everyone.
I was about to say he's a daddy himself.
This dude's drinking like freaking morphine or something. Like,
Yeah,
to get your like.
it doesn't look like liquor. It looks like a bottle of Robitussin or something.
He just
Got that-
just
got
goes
that scissor.
straight to Monster Island.
Dude, imagine
Oh,
what this kid would be
no.
like on LSD, man. He's already tripping hard without it.
I love Gabbard.
He's gonna shove this boulder over on the kid's head.
I was
Lean.
hoping
Put
it was
you out of
gonna,
your misery. Don't worry.
it's gonna land on his tail, and it's gonna make him
Yep.
angry. Yep.
Got his ass.
And see, and look, there was so much setup and foreshadowing to lead to that moment. So it's satisfying when it happens versus something like, I don't know, Neil Breen.
Neil Breen.
Birdemic. Neil
Something
Breen's
like
a fucking
Neil Breen.
Neil Breen's a
A hack.
talent after watching Birdemic, man.
This is a much better environmental story. Yeah, though we kind of dropped that plot point
Yeah, really quick.
Almost
as
immediately,
soon as,
yeah.
as soon as the movie started.
Yeah, Birdemic is a 10 out of 10. Will never recommend. 100%.
Godzilla's putting the palm to his face. It's like, look, man,
Like,
get
what a
out there and
moron.
kick his ass. You can do it.
Isn't Son of Godzilla the one where Godzilla literally tramples on him? Like, he smashes him because the kid's doing so bad.
He
Yeah.
kicked him. This is amazing because this is actually very sweet what's happening here. Godzilla's there at any point. He can kill this son of a bitch without him hurting his kid. But he's like, look, son, you got to step up and kill this guy that's twice your size. He's watching him take some punches. He's like, but hey,
also
man.
has electricity powers, and
Yeah.
Stole that from Kong.
Godzilla's watching his son get electrocuted.
like, okay, listen.
You know, I'm starting to feel bad for the other guy now. Like, it's not fair. It's not a fair fight. He said, let my son whoop your ass to death, or I'm going to do it. Really put you in a bad spot.
He biting him.
That would be amazing. I'd love to see like an arm get ripped off and like whatever the practical effects of blood splattering out of that guy's arm would be amazing.
They did.
Godzilla
It looked like
bleeds in
it looked
Godzilla
like
versus
ketchup.
Gigan.
Because they did it with got the Terror Mecha Godzilla. They did it
Oh,
with
he bleeds in that one too, doesn't he?
It split. Well, he split Angurus's mouth open, and it was just like just red. It wasn't crimson or anything. It was just bright ass red, just coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, I'll let them. They can write this down. They can use it in a movie. I'm giving them this. A movie where Godzilla gets his tail ripped off, and it seems like it's the end of him, and it's blood splashing everywhere. But then he grows back a tail because he's a lizard and comes back and whoops their ass at the end of the movie. I think that'd be very exciting.
It happens in a lot of Godzilla movies that he gets damaged really bad, and then it comes back. Yeah, it like regenerates.
But does he lose his tail and grow it back?
Well, he didn't grow his tail didn't come off, but like he gets his face like just blown off, and Godzilla's just like, "Fuck this ain't nothing to me, man."
Yep.
And just thing starts growing.
It looks. The visuals are amazing. Oh man!
Got the cartoon sound effects.
At this point, I am kind of like envious that I missed this when I was a kid, because this would have been great. I'm so glad I got to see the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. That was a big part of my childhood, but this would have been good. Kid, shut your fucking mouth. We got cops on the way.
Maybe I shouldn't have gave him that opium. Come on, man. Wake up. Pulls out the butter knife.
I do want to say something slightly off topic from this movie, but it is amazing to me how you can stream video games. There's no copyright issues, but you can't stream movies. And depending on the game, it's essentially the same, especially if it's a story-driven game. You're watching a movie. It's very frustrating that video games know that this is a boom to their economy.
I think it's because games require user input. Movies don't require user input.
Yeah, but I think it's a thing where video games know that it's good for them, their bottom dollar, to have people share this because other people are going to want to go do it. If you could stream movies, a guy would watch you stream the movie and then go show it to their friends.
I don't know, because I'd rather watch someone talking about Star Wars movies than watch a Star Wars movie. The
best way that I can describe it is I saw a comment today where the comment was, you're always competing against free. Like, I can freely pirate these movies. So that's what these movies are competing against. And the way that they battle them is the wrong way. They should see them as competition and do better than them, not competition as in they have to shut down the other one.
Got her ass. If you want to search a broke bitch, maybe I wouldn't have to fight robbers out at night.
You know, I want to say, like, that's another cool thing about Japanese culture is how they just sit on the ground. Like, think of all the money you could save with chairs.
That's a good one too, by the way. Like
Godzilla versus Hedorah.
For older Godzilla movies, I really like that one. That monster.
That's the one where Godzilla gets like magnet powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is Milna canon at all? Because it seems like
he's canon to the Showa universe.
Yeah.
It depends on what you mean by canon.
Was he ever in any other movie other than this one? Because if not,
then
he was
in Son of Godzilla, the movie we're supposed to watch. All Monsters Attack, and he was in Destroy All Monsters.
Destroy All Monsters.
Because in this one, it's just a figment of his imagination. So I was hoping the kid was going to walk off.
What? Now he's just an asshole now?
Yeah, now he's just a jerk.
All right, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Just murdered a man.
So he's just an asshole now. Thanks, Milna. What a piece of shit this kid turned out to be.
It really, he finally grew up to be able to be a man and make the bad kids think he's also a bad kid. I'm starting to think this movie was written by kids.
All right.
Boom, there we go.
Destroy All Monsters. I think that's the last movie Milna appeared in. And then After that, he was called Godzilla Jr.
I do want to say, without a doubt, I'll just go straight into it if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead.
That is hands down the best Godzilla movie I've ever watched in my life. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't even get to watch it all because we got other stuff going on. I had to do some reading. But just what was happening and the idea of the story and stuff, it seems like kind of like what I was saying with anime earlier, like that fun adventure. Like, this is a kid, and that for some reason that stuff brings like so much nostalgia, like a kid and their imagination and the fun things they do, like being with your buddies out in the woods, pretending like you're knights fighting through the forest, and you got like you found a good stick and you're using it as a sword. That's what this movie reminded me of. It's not. I don't know if it's because it's a Godzilla movie. I think it's just everything wrapped around it that just made it so fun and enjoyable for me personally. And we'll get to it later, but I just thoroughly enjoyed this movie, and I want to watch it again so I can actually watch it. I enjoyed it very much.
Neil, go ahead.
This was actually more fun than I remember, and I think it's because I have the exact same problem you have, Matt, is that I was remembering Son of Godzilla and this movie and mixing them up apparently, because I legit this is what I thought Son of Godzilla was. So I clearly I had forgotten the two of them.
This movie makes sense to be called Son of Godzilla.
Yeah, it actually does. It actually does. But yeah.
Well, we'll have to watch Son of Godzilla, but the check. But yeah, no, I had thought this was Son of Godzilla, but this was actually All Monsters Attack, and it was actually a lot better than I remembered. Because when I first watched it, because I was high off the Showa era where Godzilla versus Megalon, Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus Three-Headed Monster, Godzilla versus Mothra, and then I stopped and I watched Godzilla or All Out Monsters Attack. I was like, who is this kid? Why do we care about this kid? And I was like, who cares about the kid? But watching it as an adult, and actually appreciating movies, I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So, spoons, I guess.
Yeah. So I want to say one last. Oh, go ahead.
No, just real quick before you. I'm sorry, Tom, not to interrupt you, but
no, you're good. You're good.
So here's Godzilla, especially the older Godzilla movies, do suffer from like that weird anomaly that some other movies have, which is that if you find Godzilla movies, sometimes they're named different things, right? Like when I mentioned Monster X, there's Godzilla versus Gigan or Ghidorah. There's actually a movie that has that name, but then there's also one called Godzilla versus Space Monster X, and then there's Godzilla versus Monster from the Planet of X or what. I mean, there's like 5 different names, but it's the same movie.
Yeah, because I always when I rented the movie, it was Godzilla versus the Three-Headed Monster, and it was Ghidorah.
I think because I specifically remember watching Son of Godzilla, quote unquote, on super scary Saturday mornings on TBS back in the 80s. And I'm 99.9% sure this is the movie I watched. I don't think it was the other one, because I thought the other one was called, I don't remember what it's called, Monster Island or something weird. I thought it was called
Monster Island.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Because when I watched it last night, I was like, this is Son of Godzilla? Right. I remember this movie being Son of Godzilla. So yeah. I mean, is it probably a Mandela thing, or it's just
they name them weird things? Yeah, they just name them. Yeah. Okay, Tom, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I just
you're good. You're good. You guys are giving good insight into the Godzilla world, which I can't do. But what I can say is, from what you guys were saying, this was a movie spliced together from multiple different movies, and that's as far as like, is it a good movie? I think number one, you got to take it with the time it was made, and I think it did really well within that time. Also, the fact that it's spliced in all these movies, if you didn't know that going in, you would never notice it. I never really noticed it. It seemed like one movie, cohesive, and to the opposite of what Birdemic got, this movie earned every single bit of one spoon from me. I fucking we don't have the animations. I give this a fucking full spoon. That was amazing. I recommend to everybody that hasn't seen it to watch it.
There you go.
Easily.
All right.
There you go.
All right, Neil.
I got to clean off my spoon, I guess. Anyway, no, this would I've been eating. Legitimately, I would be hard pressed to find a Godzilla movie I just really didn't like. Matt and I will maybe have a different opinion on that later, but this, like I said, this is just a fun movie. It was more fun watching it with you guys and seeing Tom's reaction specifically. That was actually really cool, and getting to have the chat and getting to have this new format. But it's a good movie. It's a good movie. Spoon up. If I got a spoon, yeah, there we go. And I legit would do it again because this was a good one. Even the baby agrees.
And the baby crying because she wants to see it.
Exactly.
So I thought when I first saw this movie, and years later on afterwards, I would have thought this was the worst Godzilla movie I ever watched. I don't think that now. I think this movie deserves to be, recognized as a good Godzilla movie. So I'm giving it a spoon, a nice clear spoon. But I think it's a solid Godzilla movie.
I agree.
So, anything else? Anything else? Or
I was just gonna say I can't speak on whether it's a solid Godzilla movie or not because I haven't watched it to the extent you guys have. So I could see how a Godzilla fanboy may be like, this is kind of like it's like the cash grab version of a Godzilla movie, but it was fun and enjoyable. It definitely seems like a movie for kids, whether that sounds weird or not. I don't know the confines of Godzilla mythology and stuff, but it seemed really good. It was very fun, and I loved it.
Well,
I'll give you that
I think
one.
that's it. I'm going to end the recording. We can hang out in Discord for a little bit, but thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please remember to like and share the video and subscribe and all that good jazz. And we'll see y'all. We promised the Neal Breen movie 100 subs. We're 105.
Yeah, I think next time we're gonna have to pull out a Neal Breen movie. To my dismay.
I think we're gonna watch Pass Through.
Oh man,
Pass Through. I
can't
think we're gonna
wait.
watch Pass
Look,
Through.
man, it's only uphill after Birdemic. So,
All right, thanks everyone. Have a good night.
see ya.
Let's go watch a bad movie. Let's go watch a bad movie. Let's go